There we go. This is great.
Well, hey folks, welcome to episode 9 of Low Lead. In today's episode, I'm out working with one of my coworkers at Chukar Flats, which is a cool backcountry strip we have out here in Central Oregon, that we like to occasionally stop at when we're doing our backcountry and advanced tailwheel courses. So that's what today's video is all about, and I hope you guys enjoy it. So, a big part of this video is about getting Christian, who's one of my coworkers, acquainted with Chukar Flats, which is the runway you can see down here below the Cub in the background. Anyway, Christian's been teaching tailwheel for a little while now, and he's been doing a pretty good job of it. And so we felt time to get him out to some of our more remote locations that we like to use and show him the practical application of all these skills that he's been developing as a CFI, so that hopefully in the near future he can start teaching some of these advanced tailwheel and backcountry courses that we offer. So that's what is going on right here. A couple little details I wanted to include. One, this is not intended to be an instructional video, so please don't assume that this is like a tutorial on how to go to Chukar Flats. This is just me sharing some of the fun, cool footage that we gathered on this trip. The other thing that I want to say is I apologize for some of the poor audio quality. I hadn't used the cockpit recording in this airplane before, and it has a bit of weird feedback at times. So I tried to edit out as much of that noise as possible, which means there is some limited context due to removed unnecessary chatter in the cockpit, just to try and minimize the amount of noise we all have to listen to. So I hope you guys appreciate it and have fun watching the rest of this video.
Get my nose up to slow it down, get some energy out of the system.
There we go. That's better. That's how I want to fly this approach. Nice and tight, close to the ridge.
Get a little slower, get a little lower, drag it a bit more. Nice and gentle control, staying coordinated. And we land a little bit to the right this time?
Correct, yep. Yeah, perfect. A little more power. So hit her, there you go.
So one of the other things that happened is this was our first landing of the day out here, so I could set up some more cameras on the airplane. And additionally, one of the things we did once we arrived was we stopped, parked the airplane, got out, and then we walked the runway in order to just put our own eyes on it up close and see if there's any hazards or obstructions that you can't see from the air when you do your first reconnaissance pass. There are some pretty substantial divots at the south end of this runway where we parked the airplane here. So giving ourselves a chance to get out, see where they are, if there was a line we could pick to avoid the worst of it, things like that is a really good idea if you're going to go to any of these kinds of places. And so even though I said this is not an instructional video, I still feel like that's a relevant piece of information that people should have in order to give themselves a leg up in the future. Fishing? Yeah. All right, we don't have to do it today. It's up to you if you want to walk to it. But about there in the rocks, some really cool petroglyphs. They're not much, but it's kind of neat.
I'm definitely down.
All right, we'll go hike up there and check it out.
Use that performance to use safe.
Oh man, do you smell that? I don't know what that flower is. Oh, it's jasmine. Look at that. That's cool. That's
That's awesome.
Okay, my controls.
All yours, rock and roll.
Controls. Okay, stick back. Flaps down, carpet cold, fuel is in, lights, mags, master.
Beautiful. Just nice, shallow turn,
Yep.
and aim for the saddle. And you see you've got gravel bars and flat landing areas down here on the left.
Yep.
That's why I'm like, we actually have options going this direction.
Yeah, we'll leave our flaps down for now.
Yep, that's fine. We're just gonna climb up, make a U-turn, come back and land.
Got it.
We don't need to lose altitude, we just need to slow down and start getting flaps out.
Yeah, I got 10 down, I'll put some on in a sec.
Yep. There you go. You guys need less power. Less power, just there you go. And hold that tail back like this. Keep that power just a whisper. Gentle back pressure changes. Keep the power just above idle. Now little power just to coax it. There you go. And now real small throttle oscillations. Little right rudder. There you go. And whoop, oops. Keep that stick back. Well, we can go ahead and turn around.
Cool.
And if you want to taxi me over the picnic table,
Yep.
I will let you do a couple laps on your own while I film from on the cliff up here.
So I'll do one from the coming back from the north, and then I'll do one from the south. Just for
Okay. And if you want, for coming from the, do one from the north, you can come in, you can do either a low approach or a full stop and turn around and go kind of thing.
Yep.
And then for departing to the south, feel free to come in through the saddle.
Yep.
Does it make sense?
Yeah, that's why I will do
and
it.
be a little more comfortable.
Yeah, that's
All right, so before I cut to the videos of Christian doing his solo landings out here at Chukar, I wanted to give you all a little bit of context for the approaches he's going to be flying. There's actually about 3 different ways you can approach from the south for a downstream landing here, and really only one approach that is even manageable from the north. So that's kind of what this is I've got 2 of the approaches that we shot from the south to show the different arrival methods. This approach is one of the first ones that I had been showed when I was first taught how to land here. And if you're landing to the north due to significant winds out of the north, I don't particularly love this approach, mostly because it puts you on the backside of this cliff on the right with a substantial amount of turbulence if it's a really windy day. And you wind up flying a long, low, blind base to final turn with the airplane slow, backside of the power curve configured. And the turn for base to final is more than 90 degrees to a very prompt arrival. You don't have much of a final approach here. So this one I flew a bit higher because the day we shot this, it was pretty windy out and we were actually getting beat up pretty good just trying to fly this approach at all. And so you can kind of see this last pine tree on the right is about the touchdown area. And if you were flying this approach properly, we'd be low enough that it only just now be coming into view. So It is an option. It's just not my favorite option for arriving from the south. The next approach here, which is going to start any second, is the one that Christian's actually going to fly in a minute, and it is what I call arriving through the saddle. There's a low point in this ridge that separates this big horseshoe bend in the river from the actual touchdown area. And if you arrive through this notch, you wind up at a very similar height to that you'd be at if you flew through the big bend in the river. But you're not spending as much time on the back, leeward side of these hills where all the turbulence is, and you have a shorter turn to final by being out here over this terrain instead of having to stay inside of this cliff on the left, which allows you to have a less aggressive turn-based final, more visual with the touchdown area sooner because you're actually further off to the left on the outside of the curve. And I think is just an easier and generally slightly safer approach. It's personal preference. There's one more option, which is a more direct, straight-in approach that you have to fly really steep or use a really aggressive slip. And we didn't film this one or that approach facing forward, mostly because we didn't really have an operational camera at the time that we were practicing that arrival. But of all the three, this is my preferred method if you're going to be arriving from the south. The last of the three arrivals that we shot here was from the north, and it's kind of a self-explanatory one. I'm not going to really explain it, but basically what it is the only real arrival option from the north is to follow the bend in the river. And if you've watched any videos about Chukar Flats on YouTube, almost all of them are this arrival. It is, in my opinion, the easiest and safest arrival here. So if you are going to go out there without getting any instruction or anything like that, best I can say is, while this is not intended to be an instructional video, hopefully it gives you an idea on how to get there safely and keep yourself out of trouble.